Bantam Audio Publishing presents Dark Force Rising, Book 2 in the Star Wars cycle by Timothy Zahn. Directly ahead, the star was a yellow-orange ball, its intensity moderated by its distance and by the viewport's automatic sunscreens. Directly beneath the ship, in the western part of the great northern forest of the planet Merca, dawn was approaching. The last dawn that some in that forest would ever see. Standing at one of the side bridge viewports of the Imperial Star Destroyer Kimura, Captain Pellaeon watched as the fuzzy Terminator line crept towards the target zone on the planet below. "All our forces are in position," he reported. Behind him, Grand Admiral Thrawn sat at his command station, his blue-skinned face expressionless, his glowing red eyes focused on the bank of status readouts wrapped around his chair. Something was preying on Pellaeon's mind. Ignoring the possible consequences of such a question, he asked, "Forgive me, Admiral. Talon Karrde has already abandoned his base. What is the reason for this attack?" The gleaming eyes bored into Pellaeon's face. "Never forget our ultimate aim, Captain. We have in our hands Mount Tantiss and the collection of Sparty cylinders our late Emperor housed there. Very soon now we'll begin taking planets back from the rebellion, and for that we'll need an army every bit as well trained as the officers and crew of the fleet. This exercise will provide our ground forces with some badly needed field experience." "Understood, Admiral." Thrawn lowered his gaze to his displays. "It's time. Signal General Covell that he may begin."
"Ground troops, signal the scanning crew when you're ready."
The voices were almost too faint to hear, despite the heavy amplification and computer scrubbing.
"The Grand Admiral wants this place taken apart, and that's exactly what we're going to do." "Very good, General. Proceed with the dismantling."
As the Imperial communications came through the comm on the Wildcard's helm, Mara Jade turned to the man standing behind her. "Suppose that's it, then," she said. Talon Karrde seemed oblivious to anything but the distant planet visible through the viewport. Mara exchanged glances with Aves, the co-pilot. More than just a base, Merca had been Karrde's home. Well, she'd lost far more than a home in her lifetime and had survived just fine. He'd get over it. "Shouldn't we get going?" she urged him. "I think perhaps we ought to wait to see if we left anything behind that might point in the direction of our Rishi base," Karrde replied. "What if they spot us skulking behind this asteroid?" Mara persisted. "It's the oldest trick in the book." "They won't spot us. Actually, I doubt the possibility will even occur to them. The average man running from the likes of Grand Admiral Thrawn is unlikely to stop running until he's a good deal further away than this." He was probably right, Mara thought. And anyway, if the Kimura or any of its TIE fighters started towards the Wildcard, she and Aves would have no trouble taking the ship to lightspeed well ahead of the attack. But Mara still felt something nagging at the back of her mind. Something didn't feel good about this. "Your permission, Admiral, but I doubt Karrde is foolish enough to just sit around waiting for us to arrive," Pellaeon observed. An undetectable mid-range scan of the asteroid that the Grand Admiral had ordered had just come up negative. The glowing red eyes narrowed just a bit. "You forget, Captain, that I've met the man. Talon Karrde is not merely a smuggler, you see. His real love is not goods or money, but information. The knowledge of what we have or have not found in Hilliard City is too valuable a gem for him to pass up." It was, in Pellaeon's opinion, a pretty tenuous leap of logic. But on the other hand, he'd seen too many of Thrawn's similar leaps borne out. "Shall I order a TIE fighter squadron to investigate, sir?" "Karrde will have made sure he can power up and escape before any attack force could reach him," Thrawn smiled. "Or rather, any attack force from the Kimura." A stray memory clicked. Thrawn reaching for his comm just as Pellaeon was giving the ground forces the order to attack. "You sent a message to the rest of the fleet," Pellaeon said, "timing it against my attack order to mask the transmission." "Very good, Captain." Pellaeon felt a touch of warmth on his cheeks. The Grand Admiral's compliments were few and far between. "Thank you, sir." "Can we get out of here now?" Mara asked, turning to look at Card. He frowned down at her. "Try to relax, Mara. They can't possibly know we're here." Mara swiveled back to her board. To all appearances, the only thing out there was the Kimura, still sitting harmlessly in orbit around Merca. The Wildcard's instruments detected no threat, but the tingling Mara felt was getting stronger and stronger. And suddenly, she could no longer sit still. Reaching out to the control board, she keyed for engine pre-start. "Mara!" Aves yelped from the co-pilot seat. "What They're coming!" Mara snarled back. "Card!" Aves snapped. "Mara is second in command. She has the right and the duty to make important decisions." Jabbing viciously at her board, Mara swung the Wildcard around, driving towards deep space. And with a flicker of pseudo-motion, something big shot in from lightspeed, dropping into normal space nearby. An Imperial interdictor cruiser. Aves yelped a curse. "We got company!" Mara nursed as much power as she could get out of the still sluggish engines. With their 4 huge gravity wave generators capable of simulating planet-sized masses, interdictor cruisers were the Empire's weapon of choice for trapping an enemy ship in normal space, while TIE fighters pounded it to rubble. Mara wrapped her hands around the hyperspace control levers at the front of the control board and gently pulled them towards her. The Wildcard shuddered slightly, and for a second it seemed the interdictor had won their deadly race. Then abruptly, the stars outside burst into star lines. They'd made it. Aves heaved a sigh of relief as the star lines faded into the mottled sky of hyperspace. Talk about slicing the miner close to the hull. How do you suppose they tumbled that we were out there anyway? "No idea." "Mara?" Card asked. "I don't know either." Mara kept her eyes on her displays, not daring to look at either of them. "Thrawn may have just been playing a hunch. He does that sometimes." "Oh, lucky for us. He's not the only one who gets hunches," Aves offered. "Yes, a very good job indeed." "Thanks," said Mara. She kept her eyes on her control board and blinked away the tears. So they were back. The hunches and sensory flickers, the urges and compulsions, which meant that very soon now the voices would probably be starting again too, including the voice that kept telling her to kill Luke Skywalker. Thrawn stood at the bridge viewport, looking out at the asteroid and the now superfluous interdictor cruiser near it. "That was Talon Card out there," Thrawn said. "I'm sure of it. Either he panicked for some reason," the red eyes glittered, "or he was somehow warned off." He stepped over to the command station and sat down. "An interesting puzzle, Captain. One I'll have to give some thought to. In the meantime, we have more pressing matters. The task of acquiring new warships, for one. Have there been any responses to our invitation?" Pellaeon pulled up the comm-log and gave it a quick scan. 8 of the 15 smuggling groups I contacted have expressed interest, though none were willing to commit themselves to anything specific. We're still waiting on the others. Pellaeon hesitated. "There's also been another communication from Jomark." Thrawn turned his gleaming eyes on Pellaeon. "I would very much appreciate it, Captain, if you would make it clear to our exalted Jedi Master Sabaoth that if he persists in these communications, he's going to subvert the whole purpose of putting him on Jomark. The next time Sabaoth calls, you may inform him that the little pot of political confusion we've stirred up in the Rebellion High Command is going to keep Skywalker occupied for quite a while." Wedge Antilles' voice came over the public-use comm in the Sluis Van Central reception area.
"I'm sorry, Luke. I've tried every handle I can think of, including pulling all the rank I've got, and some I haven't. Still no go. Some data pusher up the riser somewhere has issued orders that the Sluis' own defense ships have absolute top priority for repair work. Not going to get anyone to touch your X-Wing."
Luke Skywalker grimaced. Every hour that he was delayed would go to the advantage of the political forces trying to oust Admiral Akbar from his position.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?